What's going on, nerds? This is me, Virtually.Nerdy here. We're back with more videos. All right. I know that this is a new episode, but I wanted to get back onto the topic. We were talking about Master Hand and Crazy Hand last episode. Do you remember back in the old days where it was a big thing to like what's the word I'm looking for? It was a big thing to like discover secret enemies and shit and secret playable characters. Did you ever remember?
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about that, dude. I knew where you were going with this.
It's like where people used to think that like if you do the certain thing in Melee, you could actually unlock Master Hand and Crazy Hand as playable characters.
Oh,
dude, those were the freaking days.
When games actually had a luster of imagination, that when you're a kid and like those things, it's just like when you're in Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember a lot of the times in Pokemon where I was like, dude, if I could just go past the boundaries and explore outside in the void and see if there's like a Pokemon I could get to, like a secret Pokemon.
Well, there was the Mew underneath the truck in the original Pokemon like Yellow games and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like
with Ocarina of Time, the Sun Temple that people talked about.
Shit.
Where it was like you could go up and do the Sun Temple.
Oh my gosh, what was the other one? I think it mainly stemmed from because of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, by the way.
I don't either.
Because I'm supposed to. I unlocked this.
Where can you grab that bomb and throw it?
See, that's what I was wondering, but I don't know.
Just fly it around, see where you can go.
But I think it mainly stemmed because there was, back in Mortal Kombat days, you could actually unlock hidden characters like Scarlet and shit like that. Well, I mean, most of them were rumors that became actual characters later.
When developers care.
Yeah. Oh, no, Ed Boon gives a shit about his fan base, dude.
Which is so hard to come by.
Yeah.
Which is honestly sad. Which is why I do think Baldur's Gate should win Game of the Year.
Oh, because
as much as I'm not like super into it, but it's just like all the stuff that you can do in it for only being like $60
and no DLC. Like it's funny that like game. It's funny that they have no plans for DLC, and it's one of the games where people are like begging for more because it's like it's got so much to do already.
Well, that's what kind of pisses me off, though. Why would you be begging for more if you can do more?
You know what? I don't know. Well, I mean, there's a lot because it's mainly because of the kind of things that people have been doing with mods and stuff. Because there's a lot of people who have been adding stuff. It's a weird concept because
it just kind of bugs me though because it's like you have a lot you can do, but you're just kind of doing other stuff, right? So to me, it's like but I'm all 100% for mod support. And don't get me wrong, like there's still a lot I can do in Destiny, but there's still a lot of things that I would like to see because it's like quality of life type shit.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of people from the outside are like, Destiny is like this huge, expansive, daunting game where there's too much to do. But for people that actually play it and are going through it, it gets too repetitive.
Yeah.
To the point of like, I enjoy playing the activities and grinding a little bit here and there, but I don't want to feel like I have to miss out on all these events and stuff too.
Yeah, because it's just like it sucks too. Yeah, it sucks because of the fact that like there's so many events that happen timed wise that it's like it feels like gatekeeping at the same time of like feeling very open and available to everybody.
Too greedy like everyone else.
Yeah. No, every
little thing has to be monetized and everything is purchased.
Well, I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me if eventually people pull off some kind of strike with games as well, because they had that whole actors and writers strike, and it just makes me wonder how long until that pops in with video games. which I hope happens.
I honestly hope soon. Where I would literally give up gaming online at least for a while, right? I would still play like offline games to not give them numbers.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, it needs to happen because there's a lot of companies who are just disrespecting developers mainly. Not to mention just like even disrespecting the like consumer as well.
Oh, a lot of it just stems all to consumers. I mean, yeah, there's like the developers that aren't probably getting paid as much as they probably should, but I don't really know the behind the scenes portion. All I know is like a lot of the forefront in consumer based items where it's like overpricing for under delivering, unfinished products that you're selling that we can't really do anything about. Like if I were to go to a store and have an unfinished product, I should be able to return that product for a full refund.
Exactly.
Because of what was advertised, right? Because advertising is such a huge portion of what's going on, right?
You can get
they have advertisement laws.
Yeah, and they know exactly how to get around with it. That's what's been going. That's why it's been such a nightmare with mobile apps, because they've been getting around it.
And they can do a lot of stuff in mobile apps. And I mean, me and Brennan have a full podcast on that.
Yeah, that was such a fun episode. I think that was one of my favorite episodes, was the one we were talking about mobile apps.
It's just crazy that they can have so much sexual content on a mobile.
Oh my gosh, it is ridiculous.
To just try to get you in because sex sells, right?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff all started with like a lot of food companies did that back in the day too, like Carl's Jr. They would use like hot girls eating burgers to get you to go buy burgers.
and it never works. That, at least with the food ones, because it was always like the world's most disgusting food and a very attractive individual, just like
giant tits and a slim body.
And just destroying a burger, and it's like that is not appealing at all. Somebody get this woman a napkin.
Well, because we all know that she goes into the bathroom and throws it all up right after.
Oh, that's awful.
I know.
It's
forcing her to keep her figure, so it's like, hey, eat this and then go throw the shit up.
I hate how right you are, because that's an awful thing to say, but it's 100% what's happening.
There's no way that it's not, unless they're just telling her to eat fake food. Like, there's no way she's gonna keep that figure. Well, it's just a bunch of false advertisement for like healthy and.
That's another thing.
While eating
food ads, most of the time the food is fake as shit. Have you seen that video where they compared food ads to like with actual food that they got from the store?
Yeah, there was a Taco Bell lawsuit just happening recently.
Really?
Yeah, I believe the guy's he was winning or something.
Well, because it's stupid. There's like some guy who like pulled off that like thing. They were doing a commercial for pizza, and then they got like actual pizza from the place. And turns out like the way that they've been making it look so good was they were like using glue on the pizza to make the cheese stickier.
Yeah, there's like a lot of tutorial videos on how to do that too, where they were like showing like gasoline or something or oil that you can use for like pancakes because it doesn't seep into it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I remember seeing that shit. I'm gonna look at the Taco Bell lawsuit.
Episode title: The People versus Taco Bell.
So, Taco Bell lawsuit. New York man sues food chain alleging false advertising.
Okay, so like what exactly was he like? Was that it?
So it was their advertising for the too little beef filling in Crunchwraps and Mexican pizzas. So basically he didn't get what was advertised, the amount, so he started suing them for $5 million.
Jeez, bro.
And I honestly, I'm for that kind of shit, where it's like, I know it sounds stupid, where it's like, oh, really, you're going to complain about a little beef? But it's really the concept of holding companies accountable for the actions that they take.
People, honestly, it's the little tiny things that you can, like, bring up in a lawsuit that really get you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, we have to start holding all these companies accountable, because the problem that's going on in America is corporate greed, where consumers in general aren't being treated fairly because there's so much greed.
Yeah.
I mean, we could get into like the whole politics of it, but like I don't want to go into the politics of it unless we were in like a podcast setting.
Yeah. Next podcast episode, we'll get that out.
Yeah, we'll just talk about consumers and what's going on with corporate America's greed, which is completely. I mean,
it has to do.
Like,
it has to do with
similar.
gaming, because that also like is a very big problem in gaming.
So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ties, but yeah, in general, this is your friendly neighborhood announcement of playing Zelda, talking about consumer-based.
Zelda, the consumerism edition. I have no clue what to do.
Push that.
I did.
No, you didn't. Punch it.
That's the weird thing, is that like this thing was already pulled when I got here.
Unpull it.
Yes, so
Push it back up.
hold on, I'm gonna pause it. Oh god, we figured it out. Honestly, you're not gonna look at this.
Are you fucking serious?
It's so dumb, because you have to like stab it just to get to it.
And you can push it to. Oh, okay. Yep. Or not push it. I guess it goes on its own.
I hate this game, Justin.
Thanks, walking. You really like walking.
Shoot, that's gonna spawn that guy in 2 seconds.
I wish you could just like push him out of the way.
I know, honestly.
Push him out of the full thing. I like how it barely changes the brick's colors. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna remove this small layer of dust.
Watch this. Oh,
Very good, Brennan.
thing got fucking blocked.
That's alright. There you go. And the slow burn. A lot of this game is slow burn.
It really is. Oops.
Oh gosh, and I gotta wait 10 years.
Oh my god.
Are you serious?
Fuck it.
Brennan?
He's not attacking me anymore. It's fine. Whatever.
This game's really making me tired.
Okay. So I can come back to that. I just mainly wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything before I commit to leaving.
Oh yeah. If he goes out of the circle, will he just kind of flop?
Yes. But the thing is the enemies know. Yeah, see? Like, he started disappearing before I killed him, so I kind of glitched him out of system. Oh, son of a bitch.
Nice. I just realized what
whatever.
those towers actually are, too. It's those one little beam towers that have the eye on top.
Yep.
Bomb ones.
But it's the future one. I really don't like the mix of technology with Zelda games. I know that's where the original design was supposed to happen. Like, I know that Link was supposed to be a very few. Legend of Zelda was definitely supposed to be a future game, like, but it's the fact that they went with the past design for it and
like the
mix
medieval
them.
swords and stuff.
It's when they mix them that's super weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's like Tears of the Kingdom is so fun, but it's still like just doesn't really feel like a full Zelda game.
Oh no, not at all. It really feels very fan made.
It feels more like a what's that one weird ass game? Xenoblade or Xeno Chronicles or something?
Yeah, which is ironic because Breath of the Wild had a Xenoblade, Xenoblade like crossover.
Yeah, so it's like that's just kind of what it like seems, because it just seems like a very futuristic sword kind of fighting. But to me, it's like, why would you use swords in the future if you have energy and these energy blasts and shit? Where it's like, why couldn't you just put that into a Glock?
Oh yeah, that stuff very much confuses me when it comes to stuff like Final Fantasy VII, because
where they have guns and swords.
There's one dude who your teammate, and he just has a fucking Gatling gun on his fist, and then you're walking around with this giant anime sword.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff makes no sense. Like, I mean, at least with Final Fantasy it fits, but this, because it's had such an integration of past, like medieval kind of shit,
yeah,
it just doesn't fit here.
Well, that's where I just find it's so odd that all these creatures and stuff like have to just rely on their own senses and abilities, and then you have all of a sudden these laser beam eyes that shoot lasers and be cool. Like,
yeah.
What?
Wait, what the fuck?
But in those games, you can't reflect the lasers using like a mirror, which, if you were any sensibility, you could reflect lasers with mirrors.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, there we go. I just had to touch it again.
Time to go back there.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just weird. I get it if it's like how you set it up in your lore, but if you add it later, it just feels weird. I get it at the same. It's weird because I know they have to find some new weird creative ways to add new stuff to these Zelda games, but futuristic is not it.
Well, see, the thing is like, why are we going into the past and it's futuristic, but now we're living in this like steampunk?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, explain that. Why did they die off?
If
they were so advanced.
I know, it's dumb. Like 10 trillion times more advanced. Oh, son of a biscuit-eating fuck dog. No, that kind of just changed the whole mood of the episode.
Son of a bitch-eating fuck dog.
A biscuit-eating fuck dog. There you go. Ugh, God, this is going to be annoying.
A bellows kind of makes sense because you could just pump that to create air.
And you could easily pass that off as magic.
True. But then there's like, okay, if there's magic, again, why can't you conjure a fucking gun?
Seriously?
I mean, yeah, there's wands, but like, why don't you just conjure a wand that has a fucking bomb attached to it? Why is there a limit?
Yeah, I don't. That's a good question. Actually.
Why is there a limit in magic, Brennan?
Because it's energy.
Okay, but what happens when you have a lot of energy to expel and you still have limit?
Well, the energy is your limit. I think that makes sense to me. I mean, think of it this way: like, boom.
Think about it in Harry Potter.
I'm using all of my stamina, and now I'm really worn out. Oh, well, with Harry Potter, there really is no limit. The only limit is themselves.
But I mean, if the wand chooses you,
yeah,
it's like the wand itself has its like own energy, but the thing is, it's like unlimited.
Yeah, I mean,
the only time there's really like an expiration on it is if you're using another wand.
Well, yeah, because it's like the wand has its own personality, so it's like, I mean, if you were being used by somebody, you wouldn't want to be used by them. So you're not gonna cooperate with them.
But if you're used by the right person, you can use unlimitedness.
Yeah, because you like that person.
And
there's no in-lore there's just no in-lore reason why shit is like infinite in Harry Potter. So that's why I have no really good answer for you.
Well, the thing is like even with energy, there should be like some sort of stamina because. Stamina you can train, and once you train, you gain more energy.
Yeah,
so
well, I mean, like most magic games work like that.
Time.
Skyrim works like that.
Yeah, but you're limited to a certain amount of spells. Once you've learned all the spells...
What the fuck?
You've learned all the spells. So what's more to learn? There has to be something else, is what I'm saying. There has to be like a beyond. There needs to be a way to create new spells.
I can agree with
Does
that.
that make sense?
No, I can agree with. I mean, that is another thing that most people do never fucking talk about when it comes to like shit like Harry Potter. Who the fuck makes these spells?
Well, yeah. How did Snape create Sectum Sempra?
Exactly. I think like if my explanation for it is you're using your energy like to create something with intent. So like he was intending to create a spell to torture his bullies.
But how did he do it?
He put a bunch of energy and then just put a word to it and magic, I guess. That's the thing. They don't make.
I'm sure there's a huge lore that you could go through, but it's just like there has to be ways like that in everything. If there's energy, there always has to be a possibility. Because the thing with science is science should be limitless. There's always going to be something new, no matter what.
Exactly.
And if you run out of things, well then, don't you think you can combine things or do different things to create new ones? There should be an infinite number of possibilities in magic. I just feel like every single time you see magic portrayed, there's no real way to create and do new magic. It's just like, hey, here's your set of rules.
I'm gonna use this as a very poor example, but there is one piece of media I've noticed where there is kind of just no limit to like magic, where there is like basically no. Even Dungeons and Dragons has its limits. It's a lot of very obscure spells that you could learn in D&D, but it has its limits. The only time I've seen any form of magic be used in a way where there's like an unlimited amount of like point to like just basically down to your creativity is Wizards of Waverly Place.
You know, you're not wrong.
It is literally the only time I have ever seen in media where there's no limit to the magic. It is just based off of like your intent and the words you put behind it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Damn, that show was a bop.
Dude, I rewatched that on Disney Plus.
Hell yeah.
Was I supposed to? I think I'm supposed to press something up here.
That's where I'm like, the magic would make sense in that point. Because
I can pick a button.
I don't like that the idea of magic can be limited. I mean, there has to be right and wrong. There always is. In anything that you do, there is always a good or bad, right or wrong, and black and white.
Yeah.
Like, there is those lines, and there always will be. And that's something that's like, the universe has to balance itself in that way. There is no dark without light, and there is no light without dark.
Well, I think with that example is why most like forms of media have a limit on the magic. It's like due to the balance of things, like.
But there's always a way to kind of like interrupt that balance.
Yes, which I mean, the best example they have is like, oh, well, you can interrupt the balance, but then it'll fuck everything up, and then all of a sudden you have to just go back on it and not do that ever again. It's they kind of use that in D&D where it's like their reasoning for stuff like why you can't use time travel magic or something like that is because like it's thought to be possible, but the only people who have actually tried it never lived to complete it. And so it's like...
See, the thing is like time travel to me is only available in like a spirit form.
Like
an
a conscious... So kind of like a good example, X-Men Days of Future Past, where they like send his consciousness back to a younger form of himself.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's probably a really good way to explain that. I mean, yeah, it's like where you can, your spirit almost is like, it can be sent back, or you can go in for it. But the thing is I don't believe that you can alter anything. I believe it's more of a show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, the past really does only exist within yourself. Like, exists within your memories, because there's not exactly a way to pinpoint.
But I also believe the future does, too.
Well, like, so what do you mean by that? Like,
I think there is predestination. I think there are predestination, and there's things that, yes, you have a lot of choice, but there's probably one way you're going to turn out.
I'll see.
So I
What
think
the fuck?
it's very linear, and to a point where it's our own stories.
I get it. Sorry, I got really distracted because it makes sense now.
1, 3, 2.
Yeah. But yeah, I can see that. Like, oh man, time travel's weird. Time travel's the one thing where it's like the more you talk about it, the more confusing it gets.
I actually had a theory on Deja Vu.
What is your theory? Because I've heard a theory that I kind of like agree with, and it's pretty interesting. So I want to know yours.
In my belief of linear timeline and spirit travel, I believe there are moments where your spirit aligns with your body in a way that is traveling future or past. Mostly like future, right?
Okay.
Where your spirit is coming back to you, and it just happens to align perfectly enough till you get a glimpse of the future. Because you've already lived it in your spirit's form, but your spirit has been able to come back, and you just kind of get a glimpse of that memory.
Okay. This is a theory that I've heard, and it really resonates with me because I have the belief in like the infinite like universe kind of theory, like the.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah. Well, the idea is that what happened is the reason why it's deja vu is because you have lived that moment before, and you've actually died in that moment. So you're remembering the point right before you died, and so like deja vu is you like going back into a new universe, like you moving on to a new universe or something like that.
But see, where I find that hard to believe is what happens when you do die.
I guess the idea is that like when you do die,
your consciousness transfers?
Yeah, so it's like the deja vu is the moment that you did die, and your consciousness is now like transferred in that moment. So like oh, I remember this moment exactly.
Linear? But if it was, because it seems still linear, because you're aligning with a timeline that is exactly the same as yours, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what
pretty
happens
much.
when all of your timelines die? Where does your consciousness go? Where does it go?
Well, I mean, that's why it's like the theory that there's an infinite amount. So like, you really have.
So do you just get your consciousness gets erased and you go back into yourself, kind of thing, or?
I guess. I'm thinking about it more, and maybe I didn't think too much into this.
Well, that's where my thing comes in, where it's like, that's where I start to try to pick it apart, where it's like, okay, does it really make sense in that way, where my consciousness keeps getting transferred, but the thing is I'm only living in the moment that I'm living in. If I'm getting transferred to another universe or multiverse, why aren't I going back in time? And it's always going to be the same. So what happens when
wait a minute,
my final self dies?
Oh, okay, so that's that was like another thing that was like a part of it, is that like there's always like the question of like this universe is different because like this one's a different universe, so like something is different, and that's why like the deja vu happens, is like something changed, but you don't know what, because it was such a slight change. But you died in the past one, so you'll never know exactly which one, like what happens. It's different in this new one. It's a weird thing. It's such a weird theory.
It just seems linear, but it doesn't seem multifaceted, where that theory it only seems to be one way, where it's still very linear, but eventually you're going to experience death. Why didn't you transfer then?
I see.
What causes the transfer? Why is it transferring only you? And are you the real one? Or that's where it's like, that doesn't seem so... It doesn't seem energy-based in that way.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, you're just kind of transferring to another multiverse. But there's really there's no like evidence of anything happening like that, nor is there evidence of my theory happening.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing where I could see, like, if we were to die and we have a spirit, our spirit is another energy or wave of consciousness. So therefore, we're able to experience everything that our energy has experienced before because we're on another plane, which is why we're able to go back and forth.
Yeah. Jeez, I did not expect us to go on a fucking deep thought for this episode.
You have to name this one very like deep thoughts or
deep thoughts with fuzzykins.
in skyward sword.
All right, but that's all we have for this episode. We'll see you in the next episode where we actually beat the boss. Goodbye.